Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hi, everybody. I pray everyone is doing well. Baby, can you hear my phone? Thank you, sir. Hey, hey, hey. How are you? Hey, hey, hey. How are you? That's not what I was trying to do. Okay, I'm going to give it a couple of more seconds. And then y'all know I'm going to start, right? Time waits for no one. CeeLo said I'm sleepy, but okay. Hey, y'all. Hey, CeeLo. Thank you for coming in the building, love. I appreciate you. I do. I think it's just been one of those days because I've been a little something going on right here. Hold on. Okay. I've been a little what's the word? Off centered, off kiltered. What's the word? Not myself. And Dre just said he was experiencing the same thing. So I don't know what's going on here in the South. I do not have time to play with Dre. He said Saturn retrograde. Hey, Tanika T, what's up, cuz? Thank you for coming in the building tonight. The words of the good pastors, I won't be before you long. Y'all know I'm gonna stop saying that. I'm gonna have to put Dre out if he's gonna be sitting here doing under his breath commentary. Talking about some, we know that's a lie. No, I'm gonna try to actually leave it open to you guys with questions. What I realized here over the last few days is that a lot of people don't understand the school systems that we have in America, the options that we have for school in America. I know for me, for a long time, I just thought there was public and private. It wasn't until I got probably in my 30s that I knew homeschool was an option. And then that's when I learned about virtual school for K through 12. That's when I learned about the different satellite schools. Like homeschool has so many satellite schools. You have different religious based homeschools like the evangelicals. You have farm school. You have oh my goodness, there's another one. Can't even think of it now. But there's another particular, like under homeschool, the homeschool umbrella period, there are so many different types of schooling. And then we have public school. Well, one thing that we have to know about with public school, and I guess we can start there, because that's one thing that we all kind of know about. So public school it's kind of crazy because it has funding from the federal government, but not a lot. Most of schools funding comes from the state and the local government, the taxes that you pay on houses. The thing that's kind of sad about it is when you think about low income neighborhoods or that are neighborhoods that don't make a great deal of income, you find that those schools or the houses that's supposed to cover those schools really don't even bring in enough taxes to cover for those schools. So how that money is divided with the taxes on the home and where the money is placed is truly determined by your local school board. in school officials. So that's why it's very important to vote those officials in place. Then a couple of years back, I would say probably about 2002, 2003, charter schools came on the scene. And so charter schools is supposed to be another public option. Technically, they get Title I funding, just like a public school would. However, charter schools also are privately funded, so they have to raise money as well, to be able to stand alone. They don't fall under your local school district, so their rules are different. I didn't find this out until last year, which is kind of weird because my oldest child had gone through middle school and high school in a charter school, and I did not know that charter school rules are different. So a charter school is a school that comes within the what do you call it? The local municipal school district, and they basically pay the school district to be allowed to be in whatever particular neighborhood, whatever particular building that they want to be in. And they bring this new innovative plan to help children succeed better in school. Their whole purpose is to say, hey, we can offer something better than the public school is offering. This is how we're going to do it. Like, they have to have a full charter. They have to have a plan. They have to make sure that plan covers everything, and then the local school board votes on whether or not this charter school can open. So it's different for each state. What I do know is, in Memphis, we kind of got oversaturated with charter schools. And the thing about a charter school is they can pack up and go at any time. And there's not a whole lot of accountability there. You have to follow the charter school's rules. If you don't, even for what do you call it, an escalation of grievances, you have to go through whatever that charter is before you can ever take it to your local school body. Now, you can take it directly to the local school body, but because they are in an agreement with the charter school, they have to defer you back to the charter school for you to take each step that you're supposed to take there. And then you can take it a step further. So when you get to talking about charter schools, there's so many pieces that as parents, we really don't know, and it's not fully explained to us. But yet I know for me, it was just a better option than what the local school was at the time. And so that's what I did for my daughter. For my son, it was something new and innovative, but it just didn't, the school itself just didn't work out. And then you have private school. Of course, you know, private school is tuition based. They do offer some scholarships. Some private schools do receive Title I funding, but not many. If a private school receives Title I funding, and that's just here, when I speak Title I, I'm talking about in Tennessee, there are certain rules that they have to govern by as well. So we've covered public school, K through 12. We've covered charter school, K through 12. We've covered private school, K through 12. And we talked a little bit about homeschool. So I do public, private, charter, homeschool. Yes. So homeschool, the rules that come with that, and I'm speaking for Tennessee because each state can like, we're right here on the border of Mississippi and Arkansas, but their graduation requirements can be totally different from Tennessee. It goes state to state. Its school isn't truly governed by a federal level. It's a state thing. So when you decide that you want to do homeschool, which that is an option, you have to, one, withdraw your children from the public school district, inform them that they are going to be going to a homeschool, and the homeschool umbrella that they'll be going to. And that homeschool umbrella keeps all of the attendance, the grades, everything that's needed for the children. And then there is certain testing that you have to do as they progress. But typically, a school day is 4 hours. It's structured around the child, the home. So let's just say that your child doesn't sleep at night, but sleeps all day. Just say you're a family that, let's think about, hey, Motivate One, thank you so much for tuning in. Let's think about, is it the Adams family? That's if everybody's old enough to remember Adams family, I don't know. But let's just say the Adams family slept all day long, but they stayed up all night long. Well, in homeschool, that child could be schooled from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. That could be that child's schooling schedule, because that's when that child learns best. And so that's kind of the beauty of homeschool. Yesterday, we had a meeting here locally. And one of the things that I heard at the very beginning of the meeting was someone asked the question, why won't we just try the traditional homeschool model? And the response was the fear that a lot of students wouldn't return to school after parents kind of basically realized how much simpler that option was. And that for me was like, what? Did y'all really just say this on a public platform where this could be heard? But that's true. And so I find that when you get to talking about homeschool, some people look at you kind of weird, like, how do you do that? But when you're under a homeschool umbrella, it's different. When you think about kindergarten, you don't need curriculum for a kindergartner. There's a lot that you can do with a kindergartner at home, outside, at the zoo, at the children's museum, at different parks, learning. Like, there's so much that you can do teaching them without actually spending money. So we've gone through homeschool, public school, and I ain't even 15 minutes in yet. Look at this. Homeschool, public school, private school, charter school, virtual school. Now, virtual school is typically the same as public school. Depending on who you go through, you sit at a computer, you do have classmates, you do have specific teachers, and you do interact, but everything is virtually over the computer. Sometimes you may go in once a week, but that's rare because, again, it's virtual school. You adhere to a schedule so that you can be with your classmates. And other than that, it's pretty much like a regular school day, except for I'm sure they don't have like in-school suspension or virtual suspension and stuff like that. Because I guess you could do something that could get you suspended virtually, but I wouldn't put anything past some kids. So yeah, we've talked about virtual schooling, we've talked about public schooling, charter schools, private schools, homeschool. Did I miss anything? That was, yeah. Okay. Hi. Is it Isla J? Isla J? Ilya J? I pray that I'm pronouncing it correctly. So those are the many options that we do have as parents in the US that I don't know that many parents know that they have. Especially the rules that come with things. If you have a child that's in a charter school, no matter the city, no matter the state, read their charter. You can get their charter from the local school board. You can contact the local school board charter school office, which should have all charter schools charter. Yes, it's probably 200 or more pages, but that's okay. If that's where your child is going to be, you need to read it. You need to know it backwards and forwards. You also need to know your uh, what do they call it? The students and the parent and student handbook. You need to read it. You need to know it. There's so much that we miss out on, don't understand, or don't know because we just don't take the time to read it, or we don't know to read it. Like for me, I just learned last year that I could actually go to the board and say, I want to see this particular school's charter. And the thing about their charter, when we're talking about charter schools, is they write the charter. So if they're writing the charter, they need to adhere to the charter. If they can't adhere to the charter, then they don't need to have a charter. But if we don't know this as parents, we don't know how to hold them accountable. One thing I do find funny about both public and private school is, I mean, not private, both public and charter school, um, is often you want parent involvement, but you only want parent involvement when it looks like what you want it to look like. You don't want parent involvement to call you out on um, particular issues or things that aren't being done accurate. That's not the parent involvement that you want. You want parent involvement to look like what you expect parent involvement to look like, and that's not okay. It has to go both ways. But also, as parents, we have to get more involved so that we can know what is going on. So, again, I've talked about public, I've talked about charter, which is semi public, but also private funds are raised. The other thing about charter is they have their own board. So, they have their own school board. And then, if whatever grievance you have can't be settled there, then you can take it to your local school board. Um, Private charter, homeschool, virtual school. I think I've covered them all, truthfully, in that little bit of time. But just knowing that we have these different options. Hey, Crystal G, I think that in such a time as this, it's just great to know what options you do have. Something that I always suggest is going to your, you can go to the Department of Education, uh, the federal website, and look there. It seems like I'm looking like my mama every night. You can also go to your state's Department of Education to find information there, as well as you can go to your local school board to find information there. And I suggest that you do that. Another option for schooling, but is covered by your local school district, is homebound. And typically that's for children who just cannot be um, in the public. Hi, Rob McCray. Thank you. It's good to connect with you as well. Thank you for coming in. Um, that just can't connect with the public, and so still that's the responsibility of the local school system to find them. There is a federal law called Child Find, which means it is up to each local school district to ensure that every child within that school district is getting some form of education. um Hi, cooking, is it cooking Inamo? You've been here before. I just want to make sure that I get it right. Hi, thank you for coming back. Um, so yeah, do y'all have any questions for me about schools? Any. Let me put up. We do have a call-in number. Look at that. To God be the glory. To God be the glory. God be the glory for the things He has done. And that is the number for the chat. Thank you so much, Cooking Enemo. I try. Wardrobe courtesy of my husband. I just put a little as a mother-in-law call it, a little war paint on, and went from there. CeeLo says, host, did you hear the parents info session last night for Chehalis County Schools? Yes, I did. I also went back and listened again. There is. Did you have any questions about it? Because I was about to just go on a whole roll. There is this week only a number for the exceptional children department from 9 to 4 where you can call in. There's a hotline. They will be answering questions. Had a couple parents to call in today. Also had a couple parents to contact. It's great to see you again as well. To contact the State Department to check on the individual education account. So yeah, there's a number that we can call and basically ask what will virtual schooling look like for children with exceptional needs. Yeah, the end. But other than that, there was nothing new stated outside of they did choose that school will stay in until June 16th. They are going to do fall break. This is contingent upon school opening on August 31st, August 30th, because the governor extended the state of emergency to the 29th. And then from there, Cooking Enemo, thank you so much. Let's see. Ooh, that's year round. Well, apparently because they're starting later, which again doesn't make sense to me because I just don't understand. When we went to school, or when I went to school, we didn't start school until after Labor Day. We were not out of school for Veterans Day because that's when the ROTC got the opportunity to do the parade. That's when the band and the majorette got the opportunities to do the parade. We weren't out of school for like President's Day and all these different days that people are getting out. So I don't know. I also heard them say something about the 170-day calendar year, and I thought that it was 180, but perhaps that's the 10 days for snow day or whatever. I heard that and I was like, I thought we were 180, but perhaps this the snow days. I didn't ask any questions. One, because even the way the forum was set up, it was like I just didn't know how the questions were getting answered, where the questions were going. It was a little confusing. So I just kind of sat there and listened because most people had some of the same questions. Like someone asked, what about the teachers that have children? And so I don't know. I have a feeling, well, it's not even a feeling. I do know that a lot of teachers are not returning to the profession of teaching this year. And that makes me kind of sad. But I also understand they have to protect themselves. They have to protect their families. And if the public system isn't going to come up with a better option, then they got to do what they got to do. I think we're all confused with this illusion of kids are going to get to go to school and be social. They can't be social. The whole premises of this virus not spreading is social distancing. So even when they're at school, they're going to be 6 feet apart from each other. They're going to have to wear masks. They're not going to be playing any games. Lord knows, I hope they're not playing outside in masks. And I mean, I don't know about you. Perhaps I have to work out, but I struggle to even talk with the mask on my face, let alone run and play. CeeLo teachers need hazard pay. They need They need hazard pay. They need state of emergency pay. They need frontline workers pay. They need to up their benefits, not not where it comes out of their pocket, but to make sure that they have pristine benefits if they're going to be in the building. They need hold on, pay. Yeah, then their regular pay needs to be increased because they're actually going into area that they know they could contract something from. Um, there's so many things that I would literally, as a parent, advocate for teachers for right now in this season. Dre said, just wondering why we let people out of. Hey, I can't fool with you today because you're telling the truth. Just wondering why we let people out of jail early because COVID, but we're in a hurry to put kids back in school. Priority. Who's the real priority? There are so many conspiracy theories out right now. I mean, it's YouTube, according to Derek C. Williams. Thank you, Derek, for freeing me. And so this is you, me, too. Like I say, well, I won't say, in my opinion. And in my opinion, from the very beginning, I told my husband I felt like this virus was about population control. Now, more than ever, I still feel the same. And I say that because majority of the children in inner schools, this is who it's affecting. It's not affecting private school. Private schools did not miss a beat. Like they didn't miss a beat when the public school system had children that were out of the school system and not going. Private school still going. I know this because I literally had a homeschooler in my house, a private schooler in my house, and a public schooler. The public schooler was on the game. The private schooler, he was still doing private school work. They just went straight to Zoom, had a break here and there. Lunch, school was over at 1, but it didn't just stop. And it wasn't just his school, it was all of them. They kept rolling. So as a whole, our public school system, and I'm not just talking about Memphis, Tennessee, Shelby County, I'm talking about every public school system in the United States need to be revamped. Some things need to be adjusted. We are too far behind the time. Private schools always had an advantage, and that was understood because people were paying for the kids to have the things that they needed and to have more. And this is coming from people who have more money, but public school should not be at that great of a disadvantage that something like a pandemic happens and all education has to stop. Sila says, because it costs money to provide 3 hots and a cot. But that's true. That's true, Silo. That's true. But at the same time, you're letting them out. I guess you're right. Because they get paid for the kids to be at school per head. So that's something to think about. That is definitely something to think about. Hey, Hot Air, how are you doing? Thank you for coming in. But I definitely I do feel that it is partly population control. Like I don't think, and I've said it before, I think that it was man-made, which at first they were saying it was coming from bats. I've been saying man-made from the beginning. But I also think what happened is it's mutated and it's getting out of hand, and they were not prepared for it. And so now as citizens, we're just trying to, so many of us are thriving to just have regular life again, not understanding that life as we knew it is never going to be the same. Life as we knew it pre C-19, it's not going to be the same. Some of us gonna walk out of this thing with some trauma attached to it. So it's just not gonna be the same. But again, they leave the choice up to us, even here in Shelby County, to see what we're going to do. But then in states where there are hot spots, their school isn't the closest thing on their mind right now. Right now, they're trying to figure out how to get their numbers down. And for me, I think that we got to start from the top. Leadership has to step in and stop acting like, oh, this is just nothing. because it's not just, if it was just nothing, people wouldn't be dying. If it was just nothing, people wouldn't be so sick behind it. Like you can bear, and then even the paranoia that comes with it. You can barely cough. Like try to cough in the store if you want to. I have darn near choked because I needed to cough, but I was too scared to cough because I didn't want nobody to come bum Rona and putting me out. That's just crazy. Motivate One says you're so right about public versus private. My child was in private 8 years and now in public, completely different world. And I assure you, if your child was in private for 8 years, Motivate One, your child could probably graduate from this public school system. You could probably go and get your child tested out in I'm sorry, they're probably gonna test out. And that's the truth. It's sad but true. It's sad but absolutely true. Um I don't know. Like I refuse to sit here and think how I can't say I refuse because it does go across my mind. Like, how can we get this better? How can we get this right? What are we missing? But y'all, this goes back to when we were in school, a little after we graduated from school. Truthfully, it it goes back a little ways. And so when children started becoming numbers, and I know numbers matter, I do. But when you start making children numbers, and start playing the numbers game, then in order to rectify that, you have to have really somebody, almost a Joe Clog, to come in and be ready to turn the system completely upside down. And I just hadn't seen that yet. I can speak for Shelby County. I think that Dr. Ray is an amazing superintendent. I think that his heart is in the right place. I think that he wants what's best for our children. Um, I also think that, like many, they he got into a role not fully understanding the political pieces that go in that are tied into it, which makes his hands tied in some issues. Having sit and watched him make recommendations on things and do things and see a board that's not even fully educated on education law, special needs law, special education law, make decisions to overturn his decision. It concerns me. It's like, wait, maybe we need to rethink these positions and what the qualifications are for these positions. Because when you're talking about a school board, that's typically somebody that lives in a particular neighborhood, but you don't have to have a certain degree. You don't have to have you don't have to previously be a teacher. Like there's so many things that I do think a school board member should experience before being a school board member. Like there needs to be a test or something. Good Lord. Hot Air says, I'm worried to send my kids back to school, as you should be, and understandably so. I think we all are. I made the decision, well, my son made, such a good boy, the decision that he would finish his senior year virtually, but we still don't know what that looks like. Does that mean I have to get up, make sure he's up on the computer, sitting there looking at the computer, not probably sitting beside him because he has that good ADHD like his mama, making sure that he's not zoning out or surfing the web or Google chatting or, all those things that come with being on the computer. And my state is back on lockdown too. Wow. What state are you in, Hot Air, if you don't mind me asking? And what does your lockdown look like? Because every state's lockdown wasn't the same either. And I think that became the issue. Also, seeing other California. Wow. So what does your lockdown look like? Is it a curfew? Are all restaurants closed? Only grocery stores open? In Motivate One, do you have your child in a regular public school or charter public school? I have placed the link in the chat. Ooh. Yeah, we just did 35 minutes. They close the bars, the gym, hair salon, and fast food closes at 5. He's an SES regular. Okay. SES board controls everything that happens in the school. It's so political, you wouldn't believe. Oh, honey. I know. Trust me when I say I know. CeeLo said, Motivate One, the SES means are a joke. Unprofessional sometimes. So unprofessional that I've seen someone vote one way on something, the votes are tallied, and then they go, wait, no, I didn't mean to do that. What did I say? Oh, no, I meant the other one. And I'm like, what? So that just happened? And this was the chairman of the school board. So, yeah. Positive vibes. Yeah. It's very political. It's very anytime that I sit down and I can say this, and I mean there is no secret about this. I sat down with a school board member myself. Me. We have Andrea Lynch.
Yes. Yes.
Hi.
It's me. Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So yeah, we are back on lockdown too.
What
In
what state are you in?
California.
Oh Lord Jesus.
And they said that they haven't let us know if our kids can go back to school, but two of the school districts in LA and San Diego, they're gonna do virtual.
So the entire district is gonna go virtual?
Yeah, in LA and San Diego. But where I live down like Sacramento. So yeah. We don't know yet.
So do you know with their virtual, is it gonna be a particular time that they have to be on, or
You know what? I didn't listen to the news about theirs. I just heard about theirs. But I listened to the news about theirs.
okay.
But I know when I had my kids did it. I have two kids. They're grown, but
Mhm,
I'm a foster mom and I'm adopting too.
mhm.
So we did a online and we started at 9 in the morning and we did it to 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
See, I think that's what they're trying to do. What I can, but
And it was crazy. Them teachers, I have two kids who got IEP. That teacher was her. I mean, to me, if you don't have me do homeschooling, pay me then. Okay, because and matter of fact is I take care of the elderly, and that's my daytime job when my kids are in school. But when they call and said the kids was no school, I had to get my one of my good friends to take my elderly patient on because I didn't have anybody watch my kids. So now you're costing me money, and I feel like I'm teaching every day. I don't get to go to the gym. I don't get my me time. I'm going crazy.
yeah. Now I will say, and that's the part that's kind of scary. Betsy DeVoe has always her agenda has always been school choice with school vouchers and
Mm-hmm.
allowing the parents rather to decide what type of education the children have. Even now, I do know there has been some talk about putting the money in the home if the children are gonna be in school at home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's going to look like or how that's going to look. I know that we have a IEA grant here in Tennessee, and I actually use that towards my youngest daughter. But honey, the way that they're on parents with that grant, and you have to fill out a pre-approval form, and then you still have to fill out a expense report, even though you filled out the pre-approval form, and then you have to, like, there's so many steps, and yet, if my feeling is, if they watch the school the
Mm-hmm.
way they watch these parents, the school wouldn't be wasting money. You would see exactly where the school's money is going and could do some different things. But of course, that's the whole, the school is mostly funded by the local level in the state versus the federal government. So
Yeah, and the thing is, I have two kids on IEP. So my little girl's teacher was harassed. I felt like they was harassing me. She was just texting every day. Miss Lynch, she didn't finish this time. Miss Lynch, she didn't finish this time. I said, wait a minute. I got my degree in early childhood education, but I didn't become no teacher because that's something I couldn't do.
mm-hmm.
Okay,
Ain't no problem.
so you over here harassing me about an assignment. Why y'all get paid? That's what I want to know.
To make sure parents are to make sure parents are teaching it kids correctly.
So you get paid and I'm teaching the kids.
Pretty much.
Mm-mm.
Pretty much.
And so my kids are a word of the state. So if they say my kids go back to school, I have to send them back to school.
Wow. I didn't even think about that, but that
And
is,
not,
yeah.
it won't be my two that I adopt because they're gonna be mine. But my other two that I have, if the school say we back in session, they're a ward of the state. They have to go back.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the children that are in foster care.
I've been doing foster care since my kids was 2 and 3. I've been doing foster care 20 years.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot. My foster kids didn't get to visit parents, didn't get to do the home visits, none of that if they was going back home. So it's been a lot stressful on them because they didn't get to see their parents like they normally do.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that part. Like, oh my God. Yeah. Or even how are the parents able to live up to whatever conditions the judge placed on them in order to get their children back if everything is closed? Jesus.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I didn't think about any of that.
So I have one going home and we had to push it back because they didn't finish their visits they were supposed to do. And it's been a lot. I have one, my kids I supposed to adopt. They had to push the adoption back because the courts have been closed.
Yeah. I didn't think about any of that. Oh my God. That's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother topic. But a lot of people never do because if you don't really deal with kids in foster care, you really don't know. So I deal with this every day. This is my life. And so I know all the rules in the house and the game. So yeah.
And it's not that, I mean, for me, it was one that I didn't, I guess didn't think that in depth about. Like, I try on the education standpoint to always include foster care children just because I feel like there needs to be a better system for them, period, especially when you have children that can go across county lines and you have different schools when they're crossing county lines. There needs to be some type of database that keeps up with them and what's going on so that it will move across the board. But I just didn't think about it in this pandemic, how they are affected.
But I'm my foster care kids advocate. Okay, I advocate everything for my kids. They IEP, I'm there. They're Alta Regional, I'm there. So everybody know Miss Andrea gonna advocate for her children. They're gonna get the best.
Yeah,
I don't care. They're gonna get the best. And all my kids got the best. They all passed their grades. We made it. They passed their grades, and but I'm gonna make sure my kids get the best.
Yeah. And I appreciate you for that because a lot of foster parents don't. I'm thankful that the foster parents that I do know are just like you. They're going to go all out even when their caseworkers don't go all out. But some people aren't like that. And so.
Well, thanks to my mama, Miss Thompson, God bless her soul. She told me how to be a mom because she had 7 kids and she had a home daycare. So that's why I know how to do it.
Wow. Yeah. And that's crazy because 2 of the people that I know that do foster care, they used to have home daycares.
Yes.
Just love kids, I guess.
Yeah, I
That ain't
love
my
kids.
collar. I may adopt one. Like I've been saying, I may. That's been kind of heavy on me. But other than that, like fostering, my heart is too. I can't even explain it, but I don't want to go
You,
through that type of heartbreak.
it give you heartbreak when they have to go home.
Yep,
See,
I can't do it.
I look at it in a different way. I'm supposed to love on them, take care of them, feed them, clothe them, but they were never meant to stay with me. They belong to
Woo.
somebody else. They belong to somebody else.
You gotta be strong to do that. You gotta be strong to do that. Yeah. Mm.
But yeah, so yeah, we're so yeah, that's what happened with us. So hopefully they can go back to school, but I think they probably end up being online.
Yeah, and the truth is, for me right now, I just don't see school as a safe environment. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. But I understand that for some it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't know what that looks like. I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. We just kind of have to pray, and I don't want to say let the chips fall where they may, because we're talking about children. We're not talking about adults. So we should always have their best interest at heart. One of the teachers brought up a very good point on the national meeting with the president, and she was like, my only concern is I want to be back in the classroom. She said, but what I don't want to happen is we're back in the classroom, but then we got to shut the state down again, and then we're back in the classroom again, then we got to shut. She was like, I want whatever is going to give the children consistency, and truthfully, that's definitely what they need, is consistency.
Yeah,
Across the
yeah.
board.
And I take the kids. We go walking every morning, so we get exercise. So I want them to get exercise. So we go walking every morning, so they can get their exercise in, and then we start school.
Mhm.
But so I'm just trying to, and get because they normally have PE and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that kind of. So yeah, that's
Well, I
trying
mean,
to do
if
it.
I were running it, I honestly would say for me first, hey Blacklight Records, thank you for coming in. I enjoyed your live today. For me, I would truly say just this first semester for it to be home, to for the government to send a stimulus package each month for home, because that means some parents are going to have to take leave, some parents are going to have to
Mm-hmm.
be at work, lighten the burden, give everybody food stamps no matter what their economic, the option to apply.
Mm-hmm.
Some people may not apply, but the option to apply no matter what their economic status is, so that the children, there's no excuse for children not to have food. um, and make sure that everybody has the computer and the Wi-Fi that's needed. And it's time for social workers to actually get in the game like real hard and go around and check on these students as they're at home. And I would just say this first semester, just so we can see what this virus is going to do, because we're looking at a virus, but we're not also considering that this virus is about to intertwine with flu season, and we
Yes.
don't know what that's going to look like. And I
Um,
just don't want to lose our elders to this old raggedy tail virus.
that's true. The school gave us laptops, and the kids' school. I go pick up their lunch at school every day.
Wow.
And they gave us EBT cards for my kids.
Silo, 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 you hear this?
And and they said they're gonna do it in July too. And my kids went to the all my kids went to the doctor last week. I've been giving them vitamin C to keep their immune system up. They said they all good. They healthy.
Girl, but did you? CeeLo said stimulus check for everyone who needs it too. Now, stimulus check for everybody because the children gonna be at home. But did you hear that California has already given the kids laptops, and they can go pick their lunch up every day? That's what I'm like.
And they give them breakfast and lunch, and give them breakfast. They give them breakfast and lunch for the next day, and I go pick it up every day.
Wow, 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 wow.
So we ain't hurting on our food. We got too much food over here. Okay, we're not hurting on our food, but yeah. the school
Yeah,
give us
I
lunch.
said I definitely said that she's gonna need everyone to get the EBT for food too. Yeah. Yeah, California is taking care of y'all, honey. All I can tell you is rejoice because
Yes, we're a little spoiled out here.
yeah, we're not saying that in Tennessee. I mean, this was their trying. They're still the fact that they're still, and this is what I've been saying all along. The fact that we're still trying to get to the point where we're deciding if they're going to be at school or if they're going to be at home, when California has already rolled out laptops for the kids to be at school, to do their work, to keep going. And yeah.
We got our laptops 2 weeks after they said school
Girl,
wasn't going.
bye. Don't even tell me that. Girl,
Okay, I'm
CeeLo,
sorry.
you hear this? CeeLo, do you hear this?
Oh, but I had to fight. I had to fight. I was like, look, because when you tell the people that foster care kids, they priority. So I'm like, I use that all the time. Look, my kids are foster care kids. We need to get our stuff.
Girl, 2 weeks after.
Hmm.
Lord have mercy. Oh my Lord.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
you have given us. She said, "I hear it." You've given us an earful because I promise you, we just if you go to our local school, Shelby County Schools webpage, they're still trying to figure out how to what is it? Still trying to figure out how to distribute and who they're going to distribute laptops to and all of that. Black,
really.
black.
So when they closed school down in March, you guys didn't have no laptops.
Baby, no, no. The public school kids was chilling. The private school kids were still working. I know
Oh,
for a
oh
fact.
no. Oh, okay. Yeah. As soon as June hit, it's June 3rd. My kids' last day. They said, "You doing summer school?" Hell no. We gonna sleep in. We gonna watch cartoons. All no, we're not doing nothing. Shoot.
Yeah.
So no.
My husband always says, he put it in the chat, California is its own country. I'm starting to see that because even with special needs kids, like I remember years ago, a lady moved here. Her husband was a heart surgeon, and she moved here with her husband for a job. She had twins that were on the spectrum, but they got 40 hours of ABA apiece. So it's eight
Yes.
hours a week plus aids. And she came here, and it was a total culture shock because Tennessee wasn't doing any of what California was doing for children with autism. Black
Yeah.
Records says those on the federal level have not a consistent or cohesive message, creating confusion. 100% Black Light Records, and then they don't really run the school part. Like that's state and local. Federal government just put a little money over there, but it's state and local. Motivate One says not even sure if SES network. Girl, let me okay, let me get that. Not even sure if Shelby County Schools network infrastructure can handle all the virtual connections needed. That's
Oh,
all.
see, I just paid the higher internet bill, and we got everybody on their laptop. They don't have Zoom meeting with their counselor. They don't have psychiatrist meeting with their therapist. We doing all that here with their computers.
Y'all hear that?
Because my kids still need their therapy. They still need their therapy. They still gotta
Mhm.
have their visits. Honey, I need to see my therapist too. I have
Mhm.
anxiety staying in this doggone house too many times.
Mhm. I understand. I
So
understand.
yeah, so they still have to get.
Tennessee behind in some aspects. Girl, Tennessee behind in a lot of aspects, but I love Memphis. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna ride on out, but yeah, Tennessee is behind in quite a few aspects. We're getting there though,
Yeah.
slowly.
Yes, a couple of my friends told me that they didn't have the same service that we had.
No, no, not at all. And I've been screaming that for years. Like when I found that out, and that lady, she was like, "Yeah, so I'm not used to this," and I was like, "You yeah, what?" Because at that time we weren't even getting ABA in Tennessee. We just started getting ABA covered by insurance about 3 years ago.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
3 years ago.
Well, thank you for letting me come on your stream yard. I
Well,
really
thank you for
appreciate it.
coming up. I appreciate you. You gave us a lot of information. I tell you. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're
Bye
welcome.
bye.
And I love your channel. Okay,
Oh,
I
thank
love it.
you. Thank
It's so
you so
sweet.
much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I did read your comment. You left, and so thank you for the comment. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Bye
Bye.
bye.
AW says our public school kids also got AW also got laptops to finish out the school year in extra EBC. Meals got distributed for anyone who needed it. Not sure at this point if this fall will still be virtual or not. That's the thing. Our kids didn't even get like they gave us some websites. They was like catch up on your work, but basically whatever grade they got their third 9 weeks or whatever, that's how they factored the rest of that grade. There was no true schooling, which that concerns me. If you here's another state and y'all had laptops to finish out the school year, like, come on now. Dre said the majority of the South are behind. Texas may be the best in the South with what they offer. And I ain't going there. I'm scared. I feel about like Texas like I do with Mississippi. I'd rather not motivate ones that they're trying. So I respect that. It's very complicated. Motivate one, that's the only thing that concerns me. Like we're saying they're trying, but how can I say it without disrespecting the current administration? Because I definitely have a great amount of respect for Superintendent Ray, much more than I had for Superintendent Hopsy. That's just me being as YouTube, so I won't say. And I know Dr. Ray's teaching background and family, and so I have a respect for him there. And I have a healthy respect for majority of the board members. My issue is what is so complicated. What is so complicated about ensuring that every child has a laptop? What is so complicated about ensuring every child has internet? We were just talking about, my husband and I said that someone brought up North Haven and how they don't get great cell reception, internet reception, anything out there. Okay, why is it so hard for the state to pay for an additional tower to go into that particular neighborhood so that there isn't internet issues? Like those are basic things that can remove some of the complications. Hot Air says they have low income internet for $10 a month, and they do. That's not the strongest though. If you got 4 people in the house together, that's not gonna it's not gonna stream well enough. You're gonna have some issues. Andre, could you put in the chat what you guys say about trying? Or text it to me. Hot Air says I pay $65 a month. Hot Air, honey, we pay $90, almost $100 just for internet, just so we can have a high speed. Because my husband also works from home. Like, and there's 7 people in my house. SES is very underfunded and the school's network is outdated. Okay, let's deal with that. Motivate one. SES is underfunded. Why? And that's not me being funny. That's me saying, okay, so we did the merger. SES, which we say sometimes Memphis Schools 2.0, they're underfunded. All right, what do we do? I love the fact that Dr. Ray gave the 3% pay increase. Even my son was like, 3%? That's all? But hey, at least it lets me know that my son has been taught something, because he heard that in the meeting and he was like, that's all. So that was good. The fact that they're still working on the outdated network, why? Like, those are things that I don't, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around, especially when you just spent $400,000 last year on, I mean, this is just me talking about the things that I know, on getting, what do you call it? Virtual teachers to come in and teach the core subjects that's needed to, for students to graduate, and you outsource that for $400,000 when you probably could have done that cheaper for like an additional $100 to $200,000 by paying your teachers extra and allowing them to be the virtual teach, like putting the class, that virtual class with a regular class, and the teacher was teaching both. That there are so many ways that things could have been done a little bit differently. Motivate One says that merger was a joke. All day long, it was a joke. Baby, not only a joke, but played so well. And now the municipalities are not only thriving extremely well, but they're also getting private funding, because the neighborhoods are what funding their schools. But not even that. What happens when you get a family that uh, I'll use Carnival for example. I know for a fact that Carnival has a fund that was donated to them when one of their exceptional students passed away. And the money went to that school in the exceptional children's department, which is a beautiful thing. That's amazing. But that shows community support. In the inner city, we don't have that. Um, Dre said it's not in the proposed budget, already in the chat up above. Hold up. We think alike. Dre, look at you. Look at you. Because that's what I wanted. Dre says to have only tried only means you successfully fail. CeeLo says Dr. Ray doing real good, but the board needs to support the recommendations he's trying to do. Absolutely, CeeLo. Absolutely. It's a couple of board members. And when I say a couple of, that I ain't got no what do you call it? Dog in that fight. But it's time for them to go. I don't even know nobody in my family that well, wait a minute. Y'all may live in one of the districts. I may have to talk to y'all about it. We'll see. But it's a couple of board members that just need to go. They're having lunches with people they ain't got no business having lunches with. They're meeting with people they don't have any business meeting with. They've been sitting in those seats for entirely too long, and it's time for them to go. And I'm gonna just put that out there like that. And in the words of Nene Leaks, I said what I said. Motivate One says it still boils down to politics and socioeconomic inequalities. Absolutely. Absolutely. And just absolutely. I mean, Dr. Ray has his hands full. Like, he genuinely does. But at the same time, I don't know. I mean, because for me, being a parent that cares, being a citizen that cares, caring a little more probably than I should have to, they definitely need term limits. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because some of them just need to go. Like, I don't even know how to say it any better than that. Some of them need to go. And I didn't realize it until last year, dealing with my son in the school. Motivate One says there's even a vast difference within SCS regarding suburban schools and inner city. Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. And the fact that I can't remember, I think it was CeeLo, when we were talking about just the whole who they were surveying, like CeeLo says White Station alumni donate like it's an Ivy League school. Absolutely. We have a White Station alum in here right now in the chats. Absolutely they do. Hot Air says facts 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely they do. And Whitehaven does too. Let's be mindful. Whitehaven does too. And I'm not mad at them. Keep your school up, but at the same time, I don't know. Y'all. I guess so we can stay the topic. Is everyone clear about the different options they have for schooling their children? I didn't talk much about the well, yeah, I kind of covered everything because even with charter schools, make sure you're reading your school's charter. Make sure you understand it fully. Make sure you know what the I can't stress that enough. Make sure you know what the grievance protocol is. Make sure you understand what that charter school has promised you to do, and make sure they follow through. Um, Dracio says, CeeLo, don't hate. Um, I'm not an one too many times, like, because I'm feeling real some kind of way. Uh, some kind of way. So I mean, 2 states I'm looking at right now. And each of their students had laptops to finish out the year, as well as extra EBT. And how about we just got the option for EBT? Was it the end of June or the beginning of July? They were doing lunches, but EBT doesn't even fall on the school system. That falls on the state. Yeah. I'm just feeling some kind of way here, y'all. I don't know. And, CeeLo said, not hating at all, but agreeing that schools need support from alumni, especially as well as the community. Absolutely, they need support. But at the same time, she said that EBT came in June. Honey, they just, I want to say, just started with the application. Initially, they did have food drives. Now, I'm going to say that we did have food drives, or food banks that were providing food for meals for families. They also had a destination for families to pick up meals for kids, and for lunch. They also had packets for children that didn't have internet or Wi-Fi. Hot air, I'm about to block you for the night because my pressure finna get rose. She said my kids got $365 a piece. I just don't. And I understand some states, the cost of living, the cost of food is higher. But what took Tennessee so long? Like, the governors didn't have a governors meeting. Maybe I'm expecting too much. Like, is there not a, I don't know. Tennessee kids got 250. Okay. 365, 250. Tennessee, California. Okay. Cost of living is a little different. 250 is not bad. So hot air, yours started in June. Okay, they did get out of school in March. Just trying to find the grace here, y'all. Tanika T says sure did. Hot air says as soon as the school closed down the next week, they will give the kids lunches every day at school. Now they did do that. I will say our schools did that immediately. I give SES that. They made sure that them children had something to eat immediately. They also put out different, because I'm not gonna put them out there like that. They also put out different emotional and emotional and mental support that was necessary. There were numbers that you could call if you needed that. So there were things that you could reach out to. So I want to be clear about that. They did try. I'm not even knocking, and they were successful in some areas. So SES, this is me giving you kudos in some areas. My only issue is, why don't these kids have laptops by now? Why are parents being given the option of in the building, I mean, physically going to school, when we don't know what this virus is going to do, when our city is already going back on certain phases, as well as it was something else that the numbers are on a steady rise. Like we hadn't hit a plateau or a decline yet. Oh, and you canceled the graduation this weekend and it's going to be virtual because of the rising numbers. So I don't know how the kids are going to be ready to go to school 6 weeks from that. Hot Air says, I think everybody should get it across the board. Sorry this has happened to you guys. Yeah, they did provide lunches. I'll give them that. And the EBT started, the application process started in June. Laptop stuff hasn't happened yet. And so somebody like me, I've made a decision to go virtual. So I'm going to go get my son a laptop. Like I'm going to do what I have to do instead of waiting on the schools to do it. But ain't like I just got the money sitting around to do it, but I'm going to do what I got to do. Dre CEO said, this is what happens when you let each governor make the call. This should have come to Boshata. I agree with you. Because if it had have been a federal thing across the board as far as shutting down, I think we will be in a lot better place than we are. Motivate One says it takes time to procure laptops, and there's a lot of red tape involved. My only thing about that, Motivate One, is when both of my children were in charter schools, they had laptops. So if a charter school can come in and do it, I don't understand. I just don't. Like I don't understand. And even with the red tape, what is the red tape? Because shoot, we had to tell the charter school, hey, y'all need to take some of this stuff off of the computers. Laptops can't all be passed out until mid-September. Why is that, CeeLo? Is that just because of the amount of students? Is it because they have them on back order? We were last to order them. Did they say why? Hot Air says, we do not have to do the application. Your child get free lunch. They get the EBT card. That happened to some of the families here in Tennessee. Some of the families, they just checked the card and they were there, back order and late arrival. So, which means we were last to the party. Yeah. Last of the party, which thankfully we have, multiple laptops in the house or computers in the house, but still, yeah. What about the families that don't? Court rules. Okay. In Memphis, laptops have not been ordered yet, pending enrollment for virtual learning. Dre said, the truth is that things is uncharted territory. And each governor and their teams do their best to provide a plan. Some governors are just better thinkers and doers than others. That's fact, Dre. Motivate One says, I'm not defending them, but I just have compassion because I literally know everything they have to do from a business perspective. Yeah. The one thing that I can say is I pray that if anything, that we learn from this experience that we have to upgrade the technology in SES for our students going forward. Like, this should not be an issue again. It just shouldn't. We should be able to transition from physical to virtual, just like a private school or a charter school. That's the thing. If there are charter schools that still transition just fine because their children were doing work on computers. In Memphis, pending enrollment. And the scary part about that is, and maybe I'm crazy in my thought process, but order enough laptops for all of your students and allow all students to use laptops, whether they are virtual or at school anyway. Stop spending money on actual books. And that way, if they are in the physical building and something happens, they can just go ahead and transition. Because what happens if they go in the building, but then the flu in this thing takes off and we have to do a shutdown again? So the kids that were not signed up for virtual, they don't have to do work. How are they gonna transition? Like, what is the plan? Um, oh, I get it, Motivate One. I seriously get where you're coming from. It's just that I have greater compassion for the kids than I do for them. Because it's our responsibility to make sure that we plan for things like this. Like, this should have been a conversation in March. I feel like enough laptops should have been ordered in March. I feel like we should have gone to online learning completely in March, and that would prepare us for the new school year. If we're going to do virtual learning or not, the kid knows how to do it. The summer should have been used for the children to understand the different apps and what do you call it? Software and programs that are going to be used. CeeLo says MLGW got old infrastructure in the cities, so it's not just SCS with old stuff. Oh, I'm sure. But again, as a city, as a state, we got to do better. Hot Air says facts. Motivate One says you're right, but charters have a little more flexibility in how they operate. Absolutely right. A little more flexibility, a little more grace, a little more tolerance, a little more opportunity for mistakes. Too much, if you ask me. Court rule says, as a computer tech teacher, okay, the laptops we get are horrible and break easily. I've seen that happen before. Hot Air says that's right. Motivate One says I agree with you. CeeLo, I got one that like to throw equipment. Hey man, I have one of those too. Again, Outer Box is amazing. So is Symmetry. And there is one other brand that is absolutely amazing. I'm telling you, I have seen them chunked quite a few times, and they've made it. Like, yeah. Dallas County, Aisha, I have zero call in to speak to you. Did you call in? You know what? Ooh. You can call. Please call in. Okay, call on in. Not a problem at all. Dre said governors should be meeting and developing best practices, training, and planning scenarios. Look at you, Governor Dre. Hot Air says I agree with you 100%. Hot Air said that's true. Dallas County Scratcher said, let me talk to the wife and I'll be calling you. I have to speak my mind on the laptops. I'll be calling in after I speak to my wife and let her go to sleep. Alrighty. If I'm still on, you sure can. Those laptops are not new. The ones that are falling apart or the ones that they're trying to use now. What? Dallas County. So are you in Texas? I agree with you, Dre. 100%. Court rules, I agree with you too. And because I've seen it. Like, I've seen kids, because again, the school that my son was at, I volunteered to just kind of help with the startup of school. I want to say his 10th grade year. And the laptops came with the ones they're giving the kids for homeschooling. And yes, Dallas. Okay. I had to check them in. Hey, Opinion Guru TV, thank you for coming in. I had to help check the computers out to see which ones will go back because we paid for insurance on them. Y'all, how these kids had whole rows missing, on their what do you call it, on their keyboard. I don't know. Screws missing out the back. I don't know. I'm like, how did what did I don't know. I mean, some of them look like the dog chewed on it. I'm like, what in the world? Like, I just couldn't imagine how an electronic device got to that degree. And I know some of these kids know how to keep up with these type of things because they're not letting their Xboxes and PS4s and um, PlayStations get tore up like that. Um, Dallas County Scratcher said, Dre CEO, the president is allowing them. Is it okay with me calling on a text now number? Yes, my number. The number is 901-779-1879. Thank you so much, Opinion Guru TV. And then even still, CeeLo, what does that look like? I know for a fact that my daughter is not about to sit in front of a laptop from 9 to 6. Ain't gonna happen. If anything, it's gonna be me sitting there, me sitting there look. I mean, from 9 to 3 for 6 hours. If anything, it's gonna be me sitting there looking at the teacher from 9 to 3 because my child is no. Mm-mm. Not at all. Hey, Georgia Bulldogs. Thank you. I pray you get some great, great rest. I've seen you working today, love. Thank you so much, Hot Air. I'm trying. Those laptops are refurbished. I can believe that. Canada in the chat. Welcome, Canada. Welcome. That I can believe. I can wholeheartedly believe. But I'm not president. I'm not mayor and I'm not governor. And the truth is somebody's going to get the short end of the stick in this one. And I hate to say that because I don't like that. I want everyone to succeed, do well. I want everyone to have proper education. But in this time, I don't know. So what do? Do you educate the few? It's almost kind of it's almost kind of spiritual. Do you leave the 99 to go get the one? Dallas County Scratcher says, this is why I was going to call in. The governors are going to get the short end of the stick. I actually think the kids are going to get the short end of the stick. Because at the end of the day, they're the ones that's going to be affected. And not only them, but those that care for them as well. And so I don't know. I know that for me, I don't know about y'all. And I pray that I'm released from talking about school because these last week and this week in having this conversation has put a lot on my mind. It has weighed heavily on my mind. And even with our caller tonight, just thinking about, oh, you're fine. I'll be here a good 6 minutes. Just thinking about how I totally didn't consider children that are in foster care and their needs. And yeah, so now my heart is heavy yet again. And I have to tell myself, I can't fix the world. Aisha, you can't fix the world. But Lord knows I want to. I want to. I want these children just to be able to get through this. I want us all to be able to get through this pandemic, but I want these children um to be able to come out emotionally healthy. Hi, you're on the line with Aisha. I don't know what happened. Hi, Ersis, go get the one. Yeah, that's what we have to do. We have to get the one. And so, how do we do it? You know, how do we do it? How do we ensure that we're safe, that our children are safe? Um, is it worth? I don't know. I don't know. But I will say the current superintendent is doing the best that he can with what he has. Um, I send shout out to the board. Um, I don't want to be one of those individuals that bring a problem to the table without a solution. Um, yeah. And there's so many empty buildings, so many empty school buildings in this city that truthfully our children should be able to go to school and social distance properly and get what they need. So that's another thing. Black Light Records says you should be governor. Oh no, sir. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Um, no. Um, I look at Mayor Bottoms, who's a soror of mine, and may the force be with her. Go, sister, go. Blacklight Records says you should be governor. We need compassion, common sense. I'm low. Oh yeah, it rung, but it hung right up. It's here. Give me 1 second. Can I call that number back? Okay. I don't know why it's going to voicemail. Hello? Hello? Yeah. It rang. I picked it up, but and it's saying I have a missed call from you at 9:29. Okay. Oh shoot, I can't. Call me back, Dallas. I deleted the number. Sorry. Call back again, please. And then I'll call back if it doesn't allow you me to pick up. Um Hot Air says, Aisha, you can't fix the world. We can do it one family at a time, but I live by one day at a time. Yes. Dallas County, I need you to call me because I literally just deleted the numbers. Trying to see if that would help. Um Definitely one moment at a time. I've stopped doing even saying one day at a time. Okay, calling now. I'm looking at the phone. I'm willing it to ring. Unless somebody's trying to call while he's calling. Okay. He says, I'm waiting for it to go through. My hand is here on the. All right. I'm accepting. Hello, Dallas. Can you hear me? Dallas County Scratcher. I'm doing well. How are you? You're a little low. Can you hear me? I'm here. He's on. I heard him say, "How you doing?" And he was a little low. Hi, Eric. You have a wonderful night as well. Thank you so much for sharing all the information with us. I greatly appreciate it. Dallas County Scratcher. Let me. Just in case. Link is also in the chat if you want to try that way. Because we're at a minute 34 seconds, 37 seconds, but I can't hear a thing you're saying if you're talking. Yep, I can't hear. And my volume is all the way up. All the way up. Yeah. So I don't know what happened with Dallas County Scratcher. However, I did put the StreamYard link in if you would like to try that. Yeah. Let me try to call back and see if that works. If not, hello. Good night, Motivate One. Thank you so much. And thank you for always bringing great information. Okay, so yeah, that call hung up. I'm not sure what's going on. However, I'm actually done with tonight's live. I can't thank you guys enough for coming in and joining me. My goal is to hold on. We have one more person. Jason, I have you up on the screen. Can you hear me? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, I don't know what happened. Thank you, Crystal G, so much for coming in. Don't know what happened with Jason Parks. Um, don't know what happened with Dallas County Scratcher, but I did try. I am going to go ahead and sign off for the night. I don't want to take you guys over into 2 hours or 3 hours, CeeLo. So thank you guys for joining me. AW, you and I will be having a conversation, preferably tomorrow. We can talk sometime during the day. Hi Air, thank you so much for sharing great information with us. Motivate One, thank you for always sharing great information with us. Thank you to everyone that came into the chat tonight. Thank you to all the mods that modded for me. Thank you guys for just listening and rocking with me. Hopefully we can go to some lighter topics. I know I'm ready to go to some lighter topics. Let's just I think it was Motivate One that said something about praying, and I agree. um she said uh, give me one quick second. No, I don't see it, but basically we just have to pray. And here, yeah, we got to pray. It's all too complex to even comprehend. And that is real from every aspect of it. All the different areas of schools that we have, the current season that we're in, the current times that we're in. Prayer is definitely the best option. Let's try to keep our minds as clear as possible. Let's try not to worry. Let's try to just stay focused on the goal, the mark. Let's make sure we keep our children emotionally healthy. Um, Jason, it's thank.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me good or do I got?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, okay. I had to come through here. I had to come through here. Yeah, the kids are. You're right. The kids are gonna get the brunt end, the worst of it. They will because they're not used to being in having to learn the way they having to lately.
Hmm.
So the governors have been getting the nasty.
You went out again, Jason. Good night, Blacklight Records, Mr. Peter Lloyd. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for always being so informative. Okay. Sorry, Jason. We weren't able to get up tonight, but hopefully you can come back and visit us another day. Thank you to everybody that has come out tonight. I love you guys. I appreciate your support. I'm sending lots of love, joy, peace, and blessings your way. Motivate One gave us all the tasks to do, and it's just pray. It's too complex to even comprehend. And I think that's where I'm going to hang my hat. And I'm not going to try to understand it. I'm just going to pray about it. I'm going to do what I can do in my family, and I'm going to help those that reach out for help. I love you guys. Have an amazing night. Blacklight Workers, I thank you. I love your lives as well. Well, I know today was just your first one, but I kid you not, I had a headache and I was laying down watching your live, and it's okay. It's okay. You just know that you're always welcome here. We're actually about to sign off now, but you're always welcome. Your opinion matters, and we look forward to hearing it. But Black Records, your live was amazing today. I know you said it was your first live, and you feel more comfortable performing in front of millions than talking to one. But you did a great job today. My head was hurting, but when I tell you, you made me laugh seriously. Like, yes, keep doing what you're doing, and thank you for encouraging me. That means a lot coming from an artist like yourself. to encourage me to sing, which is something I hadn't been doing in a while. And I do get great joy when I do sing. And I realize the more that I sing, the lighter I feel. So I'm trying to steer myself back into that direction, um, just so I can find my place of refuge. And that's typically in singing. So, yeah, I love you guys. I would love to see one of your concerts. Well, I don't know if I could put on a whole concert. Um, Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, because I was like, I don't know if I could put on a whole concert, but yeah, I'd love to see one of Black Light Records concert myself. Because I'm sure it is just hype all the way through. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and I love good music. Um, use the gifts given to you. Good night, Aisha. Good night, King. Thank you so, so much. Y'all have an amazing night. I love you. Sending lots of love, joy, peace, blessings your way. Bye, guys.